Welcome to another edition of Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, and in this video I'm going to be looking at this Commodore 64 game called Flip and Flop. Let's take a look at the fact file for it. Flip and Flop was released in 1984, originally in the US, but I am looking at the UK version. It was published in the UK by Statesoft in association with First Star Software, and it was developed by Jim Nangano with music from Jerry White. The price I paid for the game was £3.55, and the current going rate on eBay based on a sold item recently is about £5 to £8, but there are a number of copies on sale for £20 plus, so I think this might be quite a rare game, and the person that got it for about £5 actually got a bit of a bargain. So I'm going to take a look at the packaging as usual, but I'm going to start unusually with the back because I want to see this overview first. So there's a screenshot of the game there. It's an isometric perspective platform style game, and it says in Jim Nangano's 3D Flip and Flop, join Flip the kangaroo and Mitch the monkey in their escape from the zoo of the future to join their friends back at the circus. So a couple of things here. Firstly, Flip the kangaroo, but then the monkey's called Mitch. But anyway, never mind. The reason I've come to that first is I'm now going to take a look at the front, and it's like, what is going on with this image on the front cover here? You've got the logo there, and then you've just got some people like performing at a circus, but there's no kangaroo, there's no monkey, there's no platforms. It's just this weird picture of people performing at the circus. So no idea what the designer of this packaging was thinking, but it's weird. So anyway, you've got the Commodore 64 and Statesoft logos at the bottom there, and on the spine, on mine is very faded. You can see the logo for the game and the C64 again. So just going back to the back again, I've got it the wrong way up now. The other thing I just wanted to pick out, I'm not going to go through this overview of how to play the game because the instructions cover that, but it says great animations, 36 levels of play, 13 different game screens, fully orchestrated music by Jerry White, 1 or 2 player option, and more, guaranteed to make you flip. And then it's got this First Star and Statesoft logo at the bottom. So First Star released games like Boulder Dash in the US, and I guess Statesoft was like a UK subsidiary of them that published their games in the UK. So anyway, there we go. That's the packaging. Kind of weird. Let's take a look inside. So firstly, a quick look at the cassette, which has got Flip and Flop on the label and the Statesoft logo as well, and the loading instructions, and it's on the other side as well. It's got a sticker on both sides from the company that was sold the game probably about 40 years ago. And then we've also got the instructions, which are, I've got Flip and Flop on the front cover there. Well, Flip and Flop the title. Then you've got Flip the kangaroo on the right and Mitch the monkey. I don't know why he's not called Flop. Anyway, inside we've got the instructions, obviously, which gives the overview of the game, loading instructions, player options, function keys for starting the game and things like that. So basically it says after loading you will see a title sequence. The playfield is comprised of squares that make up platforms. These represent the zoo of the future where our 2 characters, Flip the kangaroo and Mitch the monkey, try to escape from captivity. Both want to get back to the circus to see their friends, the muscle man, the lion, the clown and all the others. In order to escape from the room, Flip and then Mitch alternately try to flip over the indicated squares. Each 5th level, this will activate a magic ladder which leads them to the circus below. First you'll flip the kangaroo, hopping from square to square, often with the zookeeper in hot pursuit. Then the entire screen flips upside down and you are Mitch the monkey hanging from the underside of the maze, swinging from square to square. Sometimes the zookeeper's flying net chases after you. Sounds complicated, but I don't think it's quite as complicated as it sounds. What else have we got here in terms of the instructions? The objective, I think we've covered that. Obstacles, levels, scoring, intermissions. It's mentioned those intermission screens with the circus. And just to go to the back, it's a couple of pages. We've got strategy and tips and also the credits for the game. So there we go. That's the instructions. Quite a nice little instruction booklet in the packaging. Nice tape as well. Shame about the front cover of it. So there we go. That's the packaging for the game. Let's load it up and check it out. So as you can see, the game is loading, and here is the loading screen. Very nice Statesoft logo with bits of the United States of America behind it. And as you can see, Statesoft presents Flip and Flop, copyright 1984. Simple but effective. It's that time again where I say thank you to all my channel members, whose names you can see here in my Supporters Hall of Fame. If you're enjoying this video and would like to join these fine folks and support my efforts, why not become a member yourself? For a monthly fee starting from just 99p, you can get access to the special membership perks shown on screen, and more besides. If you're interested, then please click on the join button below this video for more information. Right then, so as you can see, the game has now loaded, and you can see the title at the top there, Flip and Flop by Jim Nangano, and it's got quite a nice demo of how to play the game that's going on right now. It's got some text at the bottom there. Basically, it's telling you that Flip is a kangaroo, and you've got to colour in the squares on this isometric view of platforms. And you can see they've lured the zookeeper onto a sticky tile, which stops him from moving around. And there's lots of other captions going on the bottom of the screen, and then eventually it flips to the other mode of the game, which is every other level, which is where you play the monkey, who's not called Flop, he's called Mitch, and as it says, now introducing Flip's friend, Mitch the monkey, and he gets chased by a net instead of the zookeeper, and this view of the screen is meant to be sort of an underneath view, where you're like moving around on the ceiling of the platforms of the previous level, but I can't get my head around that at all. It just looks like the same as the other level, except for the position of the monkey on it. So at the bottom there you can see there's also some game options. It's going to go back to the start now. There's some game options for 1 or 2 player, joystick or keyboard, and you can also choose your starting level, but I'm going to start on level 1. And well, on that note, let's get started. So this is a isometric game, so you're moving in diagonals, so the best thing to do is to turn the joystick 45 degrees to make sure you're pointing the joystick in the same direction that the character's going to move. So first thing you've got to do, it starts off nice and easy. You've just simply got to colour in all the blocks that need colouring in, which have got like a white border around the normal blue block on this level. That does change. There's no zookeeper to contend with on the earlier stages. He comes along later. So all you've got to do really is try not to fall off the edge, which is sometimes easier said than done, especially when you flip to the second mode. So now I'm the monkey, and it's exactly the same, but for some reason I just can't get my head around the movement of this monkey. I've had a few games of this, and I keep just throwing him off the edge of platforms periodically. You can fall off any edge of the platform, so you've got to be careful. I'm doing alright at the moment, but it just doesn't kind of feel right. It's the positioning of him on the squares that's the problem. And this is one of the things where your mind's supposed to flip so that it looks like it's a ceiling, but for me it just doesn't work. It's still just looking like a floor. So I've gone alright there. I've actually got through the first 2 levels without falling off the edge, but it gets a bit more difficult now, because now the zookeeper's coming after me, and he moves very slowly to begin with, so it's not too much of a concern. So he's coming along, and what I'm going to do is try and bait him to go onto this sticky patch here, and then I can basically just work my way around him. So graphics, obviously we've got the isometric view of the platforms. As you'll know from watching some of my other videos, not generally a huge fan of isometric perspective in those sort of adventure games, but in this type of game, arcade style game, it's alright. I can cope with it. And it's basically a variant of Q*bert really, this game, although not on a pyramid. You get an extra life for every level you complete, so I've got quite a few lives stacked up now. They're described as tries rather than lives. This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult, because you've got to attempt this thing. Oh, he's going to get me. The net doesn't follow you quite in the same way as the zookeeper does. It kind of goes, I think, like sort of alternates between squares on the edges of them. So I'm in trouble already. Yeah, and I fell off. This is where I start to lose lives quite quickly. But I've got quite a lot of lives left, as I said. No, I've fallen off the edge again. The movement's quite fast, and if you don't change direction quickly, you will just throw yourself off the edge. And with the monkey, it just, like I say, it just doesn't seem quite as intuitive as to where you should be positioning. So hopefully this, there you go. That's what I was trying to do before. The net's now stuck on that panel. But yeah, it just doesn't feel right the way you're moving onto the different areas. So not as easy, but I have completed that level now. So yeah, graphics aside from the platforms and ladders, you've got the monkey and the kangaroo, who are nicely drawn, quite blocky, as is befits early C64 games. but animated quite nicely, and they are depicted in the isometric perspective as well, so that when you change direction you get different views of them, i.e. the back and the front, so that's quite nice. Sound effects are pretty simplistic. There are some tunes between levels, but in game it's just jumping sounds and the sounds for activating these panels when you do so. I think I've just got these 3 left. Yeah, that level's quite easy. Like I say, kangaroo levels I can cope with quite easily. Oh, something's happening here. Oh yeah, so every 5 levels you get this intermission screen where oddly the kangaroo or monkey goes back to the circus, and there's a circus tent and the classic circus music, which according to the instructions is Entry of the Gladiators, written by Julius Fukic. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so if you ever wondered what that tune was actually called, but we know it as, of course, the circus music. So anyway, yeah, now I'm on the next level, and in this point onwards, it gets very difficult. No, I'll throw myself off the edge. Again, I don't know which direction I went that I shouldn't have gone, but yeah. It just doesn't feel intuitive when you're sort of upside down on these platforms. And I think it's to do with my head not being able to get around the fact that I am upside down. But yeah, I'm in big trouble here now. I can't go anywhere. No, he's got me. He being a net. So when you lose a life, you don't have to colour in any of the panels on the level. You do start where you left off as well. Nope, that's not going to work, is it? No, I'll throw myself off the edge again. You need to be very quick with your reactions, changing direction. Where's this thing going? Okay, that's the way I want it to go, really. Might be able to get around this. Yeah, he's following me around the other way. And there we go, another level completed. And then it gets onto the, what I consider easier, kangaroo level. But this looks a bit harder than the previous levels, it has to be said. Let's go back around this guy. Oh, I don't think I wanted to do this. Should have left these to the last, because now I've got to double back and go all the way back, and now he's going to come up these stairs. I don't know if there's a way to avoid him here. If he comes towards me, can I go around him? Sort of. Oh, I've managed to escape him. Oh no, now I've thrown myself off the edge of a platform. Got confused with which direction to go. As soon as I get up a ladder and you need to change direction, it gets a little bit confusing. But now, hopefully, the rest of the level I should be clear to just negotiate my way around it. I want to trap him again here, don't I? The zookeeper, not very well drawn or animated, it has to be said. This, by the way, according to the instructions, is a futuristic zoo, or a zoo of the future. I can't remember exactly how it's described. It's a weird zoo. And you're trying to escape from it. Again, it's weird. But it's a pretty interesting premise for a game. It's a variant of Cuba, as I said, with a bit more strategy involved with avoiding the enemies from time to time as well. I mean, what am I supposed to do here? I cannot get past that. The net's come down the ladder, and yeah, I just don't know how I'm supposed to get past it. There's nothing to trap it there. It's straight down. Oh, no, I can't do that. You've obviously got to work your way, try and get past it somehow. So if it comes down here, I know I've thrown myself off the edge of the platform. This is going to be the end of the game. There's no doubt about this. This just it got obscenely difficult. So what's he going to do here? He's going to go left. He just moves too fast. Oh no, I think I almost got that right. I got past the net. I've got 1 life left. I got past the net, but then threw myself off the edge of something, I think. So if I go to this corner, he's going to go there. No, I've done it again. Threw myself off the edge. Couldn't negotiate quickly enough. I think this might be a game where you're better off using keys. And I think keyboard is an option. But I'm not going to play it again. You've seen a good amount of that game in the time I've been playing it. I've got a score of 5,510. And yeah, it's an interesting game. I don't hate it. It's difficult almost after the first few levels. It's very difficult, especially when you're the monkey that's basically on the ceiling. But I don't hate the game, and I am going to keep it. But having said that, I probably won't play it a lot. But yeah, it's an interesting game. Certainly not one I've ever encountered before, even heard before. I picked it up from, I think I bought it from retrogames.co.uk. It was in their bargain bucket because the inlay is a bit knackered on it. So yeah, it's quite a cool little game, but definitely difficult, and certainly you need very precise reactions and be able to get your head around that isometric perspective after the first few levels. So there you go, that's pretty much it for this one. If you've got any thoughts about it, then let me know in the video comments. And all that remains then for me is to spin the wheel of names and find out what game I'm going to be playing next time around. And next time around on Witchfinder's Gaming Vault, I'm going to be playing Squeak on the PC Engine, although I believe that game originated on the 16-bit home computers, the Amiga and Atari ST. But anyway, Squeak is what I'm going to be playing next time around. Until then, thanks very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more retro gaming content, and until the next time, see ya!